at the cases of hantavirus. Cabinet was briefed about the circumstances that led to the hantavirus patients. Cabinet was briefed in South African about the circumstances that led to the hantavirus patients being admitted in a South African hospital from the MV Hondias cruise ship. Cabinet further congratulated the Department of Health for the speed and effectiveness in which they conducted contact tracing for people who came into contact with the hantavirus patients before the diagnosis was made. Cabinet wishes to allay any fear of another outbreak due to the prevalence of rats in some municipalities, because scientists have assured us that the hantavirus is not found. The planned schedule for completion by 2028 will produce oral corolla vaccines and later expanding to include vaccines for polio, pneumonia, and meningitis. Once fully operational, the site will have a production capacity of up to 40 million doses annually, significantly bolstering Africa's healthcare resilience and supply chain security. The project is also expected to create more than 340 skilled jobs and around 7,000 indirect jobs, while promoting technology transfer, innovation, and long-term health resilience across the continent. On the foot and mouth disease, Cabinet welcomed progress with the vaccination program, with a total of 2.59 million cattle vaccinated for the foot and mouth disease to date. Cabinet noted the arrival of 2 million doses of the FMD vaccine from Take Care as part of the first tranche of a 6 million dose order. The Department of Agriculture is distributing the vaccines to provinces using a targeted, science-based allocation model informed by animal risk and population data. A further 5 million doses have been ordered from Argentina through Ondersport Biological Products. On the economy, government continues to intervene to minimize the high cost of the price of fuel. Cabinet continues to intervene to minimize the high cost of the price of fuel as a result of the continuing US-Israeli war in Iran that has also impacted the Gulf region. Cabinet supported the 17.2 billion fuel levy subsidy as announced by the Minister of Finance that will be expended over a 3-month period from April to June 2026. And the Interministerial Task Team continues to evaluate other interventions to minimize the impact of the global fuel and fertilizer shortage on South Africans. Cabinet has also directed the Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources, supported by the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, to coordinate a SADC response to assure security of fuel and fertilizer and supply in the region. On international relations, the landmark achievement under Phase 2 of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project, the Sengwe Bridge. The launch of the Sengwe Bridge in Mokhotlong in the Kingdom of Lesotho represents a landmark achievement under Phase 2 of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project. The new bridge will ensure uninterrupted access to Mokhotlong, Sani Pass, and surrounding areas. The project has contributed significantly to the upliftment of the economy of Lesotho, with South Africa constructing hundreds of kilometers of roads to improve access to remote dam sites and providing royalty payments of approximately 3.8 billion rands annually to Lesotho's fiscus under the Lesotho Highland Water Project. The Lesotho Highland Water Project ensures Gauteng has access to bulk water through the Vaal water system, whilst Lesotho generates hydropower and support the provision of potable water, irrigation, fisheries, and the promotion of tourism. This working visit to Spain has confirmed Spain as South Africa's valued partner. Cabinet welcomed the successful official visit to Spain by President Cyril Ramaphosa, which has led to over 2.1 billion euros commitments to South Africa's just energy transition in the fields of green hydrogen, electric vehicles, renewable energy, and grid infrastructure. In 2025, a total trade between South Africa and Spain reached approximately 2.8 billion euros, with exports to Spain rising to 1.3 billion euros. Additionally, over 150 Spanish companies currently operate in South African soil, supporting more than 20,000 jobs across sectors that range from renewable energy and infrastructure to financial services, technology, and tourism. On safety and security, the immigration challenges facing South Africa. Cabinet condemned the viral circulation of fake videos and images claiming to be attacks of foreign nationals in South Africa. The fake videos and images are not only fake, but they are intended to undermine the good reputation of South Africa internationally and undermine South Africa's pursuit of a better Africa agenda. South Africans are within their right to protest against the spiraling illegal immigration challenge, but violence linked to those protests in the past is not acceptable, and law enforcement must deal with the instigators of such violence decisively. Cabinet condemned the opportunistic attempts to hijack the genuine concerns of South Africans about high unemployment and limited economic opportunities by mobilizing South Africans to destabilize the country, including mobilizing attacks on foreign nationals and the tribal mobilization trend. Cabinet reiterated that there is ongoing work to address the problem of illegal immigration, which work includes the strengthening of border management through the work of the BMA, speeding up deportations, dealing with criminality within the immigrant communities, and protecting jobs and opportunities for South Africans. On opportunities for South Africans, Cabinet has directed the Department of Employment and Labor to intensify inspections of workplaces to ensure compliance with employment laws across vulnerable sectors such as hospitality, farms, trucking, construction, amongst others. Cabinet further directed municipalities to ensure the enforcement of municipal bylaws with priority given to trading bylaws. South Africans must also play their part by refraining from subleasing their business licenses to undocumented foreign nationals. On a policy level, the revised white paper on immigration addresses constraints with current immigration laws by introducing provisions of first country of safety principle, moving refugee reception centers nearest to the border, and a clause to enable relevant departments to designate certain trades, professions, and businesses only for South Africans and refugees. On cabinet decisions, the revised white paper on local government 2026 as part of our commitment to fix local government. Cabinet approved the gazetting of the revised draft white paper on local government for public consultation. The revised white paper is part of the local government reforms of fixing local government to build a modern and fit for purpose local. Cabinet was in a South African reforms of fixing local government to build a modern, fit for purpose local reforms of fixing local government to build a modern, fit-for-purpose local reforms of fixing local government to build a modern, fit-for-purpose local reforms of fixing local government to build a modern, reforms of fixing local government to build a modern, fit-for-purpose local
are delayed a little bit in terms of their reach.
50 million doses annually, protecting jobs and opportunities and businesses, local government for public consultation. The revised white paper is part of the local government reforms of fixing local government to build a modern, fit-for-purpose local
Stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI Note Taker do it for you. It allows you to focus on your meetings.
You're looking at the other lady at the far extreme.
The so-called installation of a Nigerian king in Eastern
Enoch Mukijima, Ditsobotla local municipalities, and the Mangaung Metro municipality. Progress in implementing the financial recovery plans to secure a turnaround in the financial and service delivery performance of these municipalities has been dismal, with the exception of Ditsobotla. Cabinet noted that in the other three municipalities, the implementation reforms of fixing local government to build a modern, fit-for-purpose local government. Continental fixing local government to build a modern, fit-for-purpose local Continental is one area of the world's largest single market with over 1.3 billion people and a combined GDP exceeding 3.4 trillion US dollars. The comprehensive AFCFTA agreement presents strategic opportunities to unlock economic potential, expand export markets, deepen industrial value chains, promote investment, and drive sustainable growth. Since South Africa's launch of trade under the Africa Free Continental Free Trade Area, preferential terms from January 2024 to February 2026, the trade increased to 2.6 billion, spanning a diverse range of products such as mining equipment, appliances, food items, apparel, plastics, and electrical machinery. On the Hammarsdale Clean Water Supply, Cabinet received progress report on the Hammarsdale Clean Water project that is driven by the Magalies Water under the Department of Water and Sanitation and the City of Tshwane. Upon completion, the project will provide potable water to approximately 47,550 households, saving an estimated 180,679 residents. Cabinet noted that all 4 modules on the part of the project which is delivered under Magalies Water has been constructed and tested, enabling the system to produce up to 50 million liters of treated water per day. The Minister of Water and Sanitation will later in the week inspect the project and outstanding works by the City of Tshwane to ensure full access to water for the communities of Hammarsdale. The department also updated Cabinet on progress with unblocking blocked water project and status of municipal debts to water boards, which pose a severe risk to water security and the financial viability of these boards. The detailed briefing of this will be done after the Watercom meeting. Electricity supply remains firmly secured and load reduction about to be a thing of the past. Cabinet welcomed the winter electricity outlook presented by Eskom, which indicated that load shedding is unlikely between April and August, marking a significant turning point in our nation's energy journey. Cabinet further welcomed progress in addressing load reduction with 352,968 customers no longer affected by load reduction during peak periods. Load reduction has been eliminated in the provinces of the Northern Cape and Western Cape, with the next 5 provinces due for load reduction elimination later in 2026, and only Gauteng and KZN will have their load reduction challenges eliminated by 2025. It's also important to explain the challenges of Gauteng and KZN is due to the slow acceptance of the prepaid meter system and the continued illegal connections of electricity, in particular in informal settlements. And as soon as those matters are sorted, the Gauteng and KZN will progress quicker. But we've got Eskom and the Department of Electricity and Energy commitment that load reduction in the rest of the country is going to be eliminated by 2026, and you can take our word for it. On bills, the Children's Act Amendment Bill 2026, Cabinet approved the submission of the 2026 Children's Act Amendment Bill to Parliament. The Children's Act Amendment Bill seeks to streamline the fragmented early childhood development programs and regulations that were overseen under Chapter 5 of the Act by different authorities to a consolidated ECD regulation under the revised Chapter 6 of the Amendment Bill under the sole responsibility of the Department of Basic Education. The Amendment Bill introduces a single registration process for ECD centers and one set of norms and standards for the ECD program. The draft Nuclear Energy Amendment Bill 2025, Cabinet approved the publication of the draft Nuclear Energy Amendment Bill of 2025 for public consultation. The draft bill amends the Nuclear Energy Act of 1999, which provides the legislative framework for South Africa's participation in international trade in nuclear material and technology. The bill addresses the regulatory gaps resulting from developments in the global and domestic nuclear landscape by updating terminology, aligning the Act with international standards, and strengthening oversight of nuclear material, goods, and related activities across the value chain. The National Building Regulations and Building Standards Amendment Bill 2026. Cabinet approved the National Building Regulations and Building Standards Amendment Bill 2026 for public participation. The purpose of the draft bill is to promote uniformity in law within the jurisdiction of municipalities and to ensure safe construction practices through sound building signs, good workmanship, and quality materials. The bill responds to complaints regarding challenges related to the inconsistent application and interpretation of the Act. On appointments, all appointments are subject to verification of qualifications and relevant security clearances. Cabinet approved the appointment of Mr. Otsile Maseng as the Chief Executive Officer of the National Credit Regulator, Ms. Linda Siroka as the CEO of the Export Credit Insurance Corporation of South Africa, Mr. Marcus Silepe as the CEO of the Limpopo Olifants Cashman Management Agency. Cabinet approved the appointment of directors on the board of the Lepelle and Northern Water, Dr. Ndoleni Frederick Mpepo as the chairperson, which is a reappointment, Mr. Mutalane Divet Munakedi as the deputy chairperson, Ms. Aisha Hamad Lahe, Ms. Christine Murungwe Rampile, Mr. Makoni Mek Mokhwele, Mr. Kani Zwane, Mr. Fina Mudau, Advocate Rufuno Tokyo Nevondwe, Prof. Tebogo Mashifana, Prof. Mabel Mpatlele Manhweng, and Mr. Ashley Lachi. Appointment of directors on the board of the National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency. Mr. Ramateo Johannes Munyokolo as chairperson, Ms. Precious Nompumelelo Sibi as deputy chairperson, Ms. Barbara Schreiner, Mr. Simpiwe Kondro, Mr. Gregory Nigel Joseph White, Mr. Nicholas Rabi, and Ms. Mankone Mabatau Ntaba. Appointment of the governing body of the Brede Olifants Cashman Management Agency, Mr. Bongani Mnisi, chairperson, Ms. Marlie Slabber, deputy chairperson, Ms. Eureka Schlotz, Mr. Trevor Abrahams, Professor Jacobus Andres Duplessis, Ms. Natasha Davis Volmarant, Mr. Jan Pinar, Mr. Kobos Nicholas Tienkam, Ms. Klobisile Mbali Mngadi, and Ms. Twarelo Gratitude Mukwena. Appointment of the board of the State Information Technology Agency, Professor Stella Vuma, chairperson, Advocate Colin Whippont, Ms. Zimbini Hill, Ms. Pumelele Glungwane, Mr. Rendani Ramabudana, Ms. Nalin Maharaj, Professor Protas Pili, Mr. Vili Vukela, who's a DPSA representative, and Mr. William Matebula, National Treasury representative. On the International Communication Union Council, Cabinet approved for South Africa to stand for re-election to the International Telecommunications Union on Region D, which is Africa, for the 2027-2030 term. Elections will take place at the ITU Plenipotentiary Conference, which will take place in November 2026. South Africa's presence in the ITU Council, alongside other African nations, ensures a strong voice for the continent in international ICT governance. On events and conferences, Africa's Travel Indaba. Africa's Travel Indaba will take place from the 11th to the 14th of May 2026 at the Nkosi Albert Lutuli Convention Center in Durban, ICC in KwaZulu-Natal. The Indaba will be hosted at a time where there's been a surge in international tourist arrivals. In March of this year, 962 visitors chose South Africa, a 12.5% increase when compared to the same period in 2025. This follows a record-breaking tourist season in 2025 with 10.5 million arrivals. From January to March 2026, South Africa has already recorded 2.9 million inbound travelers. In a related development, South Africa has cemented its status as Africa's leading aviation hub following a safety audit by the International Civil Aviation Organization, a United Nations specialized agency on aviation. On Milestones of Freedom campaign, this year marks a series of defining milestones in South Africa's democratic journey to be commemorated through the Milestones of Freedom campaign, which will be launched at the Union Buildings in May 2026 under the theme Honoring the Past, Delivering the Future. These milestones include the 30th anniversary of the adoption of the Constitution. We have a roundtable discussion on the 8th of May in Pretoria as part of marking the 30 years of the Constitution of South Africa. The 50th anniversary of the 1956 youth uprisings, the 70th anniversary of the anti-pass campaign by the women, which is commonly known as the Women's March, and the 60th anniversary of the forced removals from District 6 of the African people. Together, these seminal moments reflect the long road traveled in the pursuit of democracy and freedom, while reminding us that despite meaningful progress, the journey continues for this generation to fight for meaningful empowerment and transformation of the country. South Africa's second International Special Economic Zones Infrastructure and Investment Conference, Cabinet approved the hosting of the second International Special Economic Zones Infrastructure and Investment Conference from the 16th to the 17th July 2026 in KwaZulu-Natal. The conference will bring together high-level local and international investors and serve as a platform where ideas and innovative solutions are proposed to facilitate and build vibrant special economic zones, as well as ensuring investment in South Africa. South Africa has designated 12 SEZs, with 9 currently operational, and the operational SEZs are hosting a total of 224 operational investors with an estimated cumulative value of 31.7 billion and 28,821 jobs created. Child Protection Month. Child Protection Month is commemorated annually to raise awareness of children's rights and the need to protect them from harm. During this period, key government departments as well as child protection services and various civil society organizations will intensify efforts to mobilize all sectors of society to safeguard the children, address persistent social ills, and strengthen areas that require focused development and intervention. Cabinet calls on all members of society to work collectively to protect the rights of children, prioritize their well-being, and support their holistic development, but to ensure that our children all go to school, as government has provided free basic education. Africa Month. South Africa will join the rest of the continent in observing Africa Month and Africa Day on the 25th of May 2026. The month is an opportunity to advance unity, deepen regional integration, and reaffirm a shared African destiny. This period invites reflection and celebration of our rich identity, heritage, and cultural expression, but also to remember that Africans, we are one, and Africans in Africa includes all people of all races who are Africans and South Africans. It also calls on all Africans to work together in driving the development and progress of the continent, so that no one area is more developed than the other, and that we must intervene to make sure that as Africa we stand together for common progress and for the rising of the African continent. As we commemorate Africa Month, we recognize our achievements while taking stock of progress made towards realizing the vision of the African Union of Agenda 2060 for a united and prosperous Africa. In South Africa, we talk of a better Africa. Football Fridays, Cabinet called on the nation to rally behind Bafana Bafana on their road to the 2026 FIFA World Cup by wearing the green and gold on Fridays to boost the national spirit and pride. And I hope we'll say no DNA, just RSA. Announcements. The National Presidential MSME and Cooperative Awards, the Department of Small Business and Development has revised the National Presidential Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise and Cooperatives Awards to include a provincial leg and sector-specific categories to enhance recognition and impact. The provincial leg of the revised awards kick off in July, and the revised categories are the MSME of the Year in the agricultural sector, financial service sector, MSME of the Year, MSME of the Year in digital economy, technology and innovation, manufacturing sector, green economy, MSME of the Year, youth-led MSME of the Year, women-led MSME of the Year, MSMEs owned by persons with disabilities of the Year, corporate and cooperative of the Year. We are hoping the small and medium enterprises will participate in these awards in their provinces, kicking off in July. 2026 local government elections, with the President having announced the 4th of November 2026 for local government elections, Cabinet calls on all eligible voters to register to vote or update their details using the official IEC online portal, which is available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Citizens can also visit their local IEC offices to register to vote, and those who have applied for IDs are reminded to collect them from the Department of Home Affairs or the Home Affairs channel partners like banks. Alternatively, citizens may register during the National Voter Registration Weekend of the 20th and 21st June 2026 at the same voting stations where they intend to cast their ballots on election day. On messages, we start with condolences. Cabinet expressed its condolences to the friends and families of Cynthia Shange, a revered cultural icon who made an immense contribution to South African film and television, earning prestigious honors, including Lifetime Achievement Awards, in recognition of her enduring impact on the local entertainment industry. Albert Mazibuko, who co-founded the iconic group Ladysmith Black Mambazo, which has won 5 Grammy Awards and featured on Paul Simon's acclaimed 1986 Graceland album. Acclaimed South African opera legend Mimi Kutse, who was one of South Africa's greatest cultural ambassadors and among the country's most celebrated operatic voice. She inspired generations of musicians, performers, and young artists, and her legacy will continue to shape South African music and culture for generations. Retired Judge President Ahmad Naim Japi, who passed away at the age of 70, he served as the Deputy Judge President and later Judge President of KwaZulu-Natal Division of the High Court, as well as his services as an acting Justice of the Constitutional Court and at the Labour Appeal Court. To Councillor Tumeka Bikwana, the MMC for Corporate Services in the Chris Hani District Municipality, who we have learned of her murder yesterday on the 6th of May 2026. May their souls rest in peace. On congratulations, South Africa to us for having some of the world's best beaches. South Africa continues to remain a popular global tourist hotspot, with the 2026 Global Beach Report by international travel specialist Travelback recognizing 2 of the country's beaches in this prestigious global list. The Boulders Beach in Cape Town has been officially recognized as the #1 beach globally, closely followed in second place by the Cape of Good Hope Beach. The rankings underscore the enduring international appeal of our natural heritage and the strength of our tourist sector. Cabinet extended its congratulations and well wishes to Dr. Naledi Pandor on her appointment as Chancellor of Nelson Mandela University, a distinguished activist, academic, and public servant. Dr. Pandor has demonstrated a lifelong commitment to education that has helped shape South Africa's democratic and social landscape. To the Blitzbokkers for winning their first ever Hong Kong Sevens title after defeating Argentina 35-7 in the final at Kai Tak Stadium. No DNA, just RSA. South Africa's men's relay teams for winning silver medals in the 4x100 104 by 400 finals at the World's Athletics Relays in Gaborone on their journey to Beijing. No DNA? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister in the Presidency, for the statement that you deliver. The statement is shared online and also on the government platforms. So colleagues might go to the South African government platforms through GCIS, they will find it. We are joined on the sign language desk by my colleagues Amira and Ashley. Thank you. Joining the minister in front is the acting DG of GCIS, Ms. Nomonde Mnokwa. Colleagues, let me invite questions. First, we'll start in the House, and then we'll go online. I'm going to note the line of hands, and then you will be recognized in that order. Let me see the hands, and we know the drill. We'll start, let me start at the front. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in that order. But I know that one of the questions you're thinking might be asked by anyone before you. Then you'll show me by a word of hand, that sign of hand, that you are no longer on that one. Thank you very much, in that order. Press the button. Yes.
Hi, yes, Vaseline from Arctic News. I just, for the moment, I have two specific questions. I just wanted to ask, Mr. You mentioned that it is the anniversary since the residents of District 6 were evicted. President had mentioned in his State of the Nation this that phase 4 will start in terms of rehousing those residents. I just want to ask, is there an update on the fourth phase of the rehousing and the repatriation of District 6 residents? And my second question is, since Operation Prosper started here in the Western Cape with military deployed to the Cape Flats, when can the public expect an update on progress of Operation Prosper so far? Is there a report underway that the public can have access to? And when can the public expect the progress of Operation Prosper? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Aisha Ismail from ENCA. Two former presidents, namely Thabo Mbeki and Jacob Zuma, are opposed to an application to extend the Kampepe inquiry. Has this been discussed by Cabinet?
Thank you very much.
Ulelani Philip from SABC. Minister, in your capacity as the State Security Minister, in relation to the ongoing protests against the political immigrants, is your